to this episode of The Game Changer. I'm super excited to be with one of my favorite coaching clients, Trudy. Amazing. Absolutely awesome. I love this girl, and I'm going to give her the floor for just, I always believe that, you know what, I should never introduce somebody because I think that, you know what, I think it's kind of a little bit of, I'll tell you the best things about this person, but they might not tell you the best things. Who knows? But anyway, so Trudy, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am a realtor that loves it. This is a second career for me, and but always loved it, and started out kind of really small, not knowing what I wanted to really do in real estate, but had a desire to be coachable and passionate about what I was doing and love the people I was working with. And yeah, found the right people to surround me and took off.
I love it. And what company do you work for?
I work for Royal LePage.
Amazing. Absolutely awesome. So love that company, love that brand, which is amazing. I think it's awesome. Yep. And what market are you in?
I am in Ottawa, Carleton, and surrounding areas.
And let's just say surrounding
areas.
Yeah,
we're just going to call the Eastern Ontario hug is what we do.
I like it. I like it. The hug.
The hug of Ottawa is Eastern Ontario.
It is. And that hug is like pretty freaking big. I'll just say that much. So
it is. Awesome. My car notices that every time we go out.
I love it. You're the mileage. Never, ever, ever lease a car if you're Trudy.
Yes. That's probably a good tip.
You know. I love it. Okay, so the reason why I brought Trudy on board today, guys, is this. With this series that we're doing is we like to talk about agents who are doing things that are a little bit different, or they've exceeded expectations of what generally most agents, expect themselves to do. And one of the reasons why I brought Trudy on is because when I first started working with Trudy, she literally was on her own. I mean, it was really kind of incredible. And so let me ask you a question. When I first started working with you, let's talk about your GCI and who was on board and where you were at as far as your business goes.
So GCI, I had just kind of finished my first year and a half in real estate. So I was probably low 100.
Yeah.
And had just at that point in time engaged a part-time admin to help me out like a day and a half, maybe 2 days a week, depending on the schedule, because it was a shared admin, and wanted to do something bigger. So that's kind of where I started. And I was looking around. We had some in-house coaching, but I was looking for like a broader perspective and just to kind of go a little bit further.
In-house coaching is great, by the way, guys. It's like really
it is.
Yeah, it can get you into that, like, that confidence of like, how do you do the deals, everything. And as you heard, I mean, Trudy already, like her first year and a bit in real estate, she was already hitting the 6-figure mark. So that was really interesting. And your previous career was what?
I was a behavior crisis consultant for the school boards. So translation, really, really, really high needs families and communities and students and school districts, and in a large area. So
slightly stressful too.
Yeah. So I joke to my broker, a bad day in real estate is actually better than a good day in my old job, and not because of, anything else other than it was very stressful.
I totally, you know what? It's almost like the perfect thing, like with that type of behavioral background training, to bring it into real estate. I don't know. I think it's just awesome. I think it's like it's almost like I would want to get some realtors trained in that, because honestly, some of our clients in the last year and a half have been quite demanding. So,
well, and they're under a lot of stress, right?
Everybody's under a lot of stress. Yeah. It's chronic stress everywhere. If you really want to know the truth, anytime you have this stuff going on, it's chronic stress. So let's flash forward, let's go a year and a half in, let's take a look at that. And by the way, I mean, this girl is like, this is incredible. So let's talk about your GCI today. Where are we at?
Today, I'm over 300.
Woo!
As of
now, we're not even done the year yet.
No, like we're barreling down 4 right now. So,
and we're gonna hit 4. I mean, we're gonna smoke 4. It's gonna be like something.
4's in the background. We're gonna keep going.
So I want you to think about that, guys. That is like 3 to 4 times growth in that short time period. Incredible. During a global pandemic, even more incredible. And talk about who's on your team now. So who do you have on your team, and what position do they hold?
I have Elise, who is a full-time admin. Came to me with lots of experience in the business, and I kind of threw everything at her in the middle of COVID because I was by myself again.
Yeah.
I have a part-time ISA type role coming in to follow up on some of those online leads that we've got. And then I've got a part-time marketing person to do some of the marketing, branding, all of that kind of stuff. And she also picks up a part-time buyer's role. So Sandy, Chanel, and Elise are my girls.
Wow. Okay. So we're talking like, guys, a team of 4, and that's amazing. So let me ask you a question. Financially, okay, a lot of people who are going to watch this, I really want to help those agents who they're in the exact same boat as you. They think there's a perception that it takes 10 years to get an admin or 10 years to hire a buyer agent. How do you, like, what was your biggest fear of bringing a full-time salary position, being so new in the industry and during a global pandemic? This is a full-time job. So what kind of went through your head when you were bringing on this person, salary-wise?
Salary-wise, I'll admit that there were moments of panic, absolutely, because that's like, okay, well, now there's more than one of us to feed at the end of the day. And it also, yeah, like it was looking at that, but then it's like, okay, then it provided that additional motivation to do it. And it made sure that I got things done that I needed to get done, but it also actually freed up the time that I needed to do the things that I needed to do. So all of that lead generation work, all of the touch points, all of that, because I had Elise on board now full time, that completely eased my mind on that. So that stuff got done, those gaps got done, and I could concentrate on moving the business forward. So it allowed me to bring on the next person.
Exactly. And I think, so to everybody listening to this, is that it's normal. You're going to be scared to hire somebody.
Absolutely,
It's a responsibility. It's like you have a mouth to feed, and that mouth to feed is based on you, which is a lot more pressure as a single agent going into ownership and actually becoming a CEO, which is what you've done, is you've become a CEO, and that's scary as anything. But if you really look at it the way that Trudy's looking at it, she hit the key element that you need to take away from this, is don't look at the assistant to give you more free time to just sit around and do nothing. Trudy took that time and then she reinvested that time into more lead gen and all the activities that she wasn't able to do because she was so busy. It's almost impossible. If she is the assistant and she's doing 20, 30, 40 hours a week, she brings in somebody that frees up 30 hours a week for her minimum. And now all of a sudden they're growing the business, taking all the minutia stuff off. Well, Trudy replaced that with more lead generation and more effort. And that's one of the easiest things that you can really look at. So the salary balance itself out. And what do you pay for a year?
I pay, in the end, it'll probably be about 45 to 50.
$50,000. And if you look at $300,000 more GCI versus paying 50, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. It's like, you know what? The proof is in the pudding. So, and that is really, you know what? Again, it's not like you're paying that person 45, 50 right out of the gate. You're paying that monthly. So if the person isn't working out and it's not the right fit, you're not losing 45, 50,000. You're really just testing out an investment of a few months, right?
Yeah. And that was what was so great about it, is that it was every month we kind of grew into it. We started out a bit part-time, and we figured out really quickly within 2 weeks that there was more work there for her. As soon as I gave her the work to do and let her run with it, and it helped that she had the experience in the business, it just freed up that extra time we were getting different listings and buyers, and that all just really rolled one into the other. So actually, I think her 3rd month with me was also my best month that I ever had with, like, in the business entirely. Like I made her salary that month because she was there.
See, that's the joy, right? It's like,
yeah, it was like, okay, we're good for the year. Let's go.
Yeah. You're like, yes, we're done with it. And it's kind of like every position that you bring onto your team really fills that spot, because I mean, if you're looking at, and I think you've become really good at this, is looking at who you've brought on board, is really, where are you dropping the ball? and then you do something about it. You like, if you're dropping the ball in leads, you bring on an ISA. If you're dropping the ball in showings, you're bringing in a buyer agent. Like, you're very, very, very good at recognizing when you are dropping the ball or you're overextending what you're doing and you're not able to do it as the rainmaker. And you're excellent at recognizing that and bringing somebody on board and saying, I need to fix that hole, right?
Well, because I feel like I'm letting somebody else down if I don't fix the hole. Like, I'm either letting my clients down, or I'm letting, you know, the agent on the other side down, or my team down, or, you know, like, so yeah, if I don't fix that hole and it's still bleeding, you know, it's never going to amount to anything. So
It really
then,
won't.
yeah, I mean, then I might as well have been satisfied where I was instead of trying to grow this, right? So
100%. So you left like a corporate position. Technically, you left a corporate position,
yeah.
and now, like, you've been corporate for such a long time, and now you're CEO, you're entrepreneurial. So how, in your opinion, what has been the hardest mindset shift as you're building this team? Okay, what has been the hardest mindset shift to go from I'm corporate to now I'm an entrepreneur? What has been the hardest obstacle for you to kind of go through?
To actually shut it off for that one day off, like the entrepreneurial time system. When it's in place for me, it is the absolute best thing. When it's not in place, things start falling apart, and that's where you can really see the gushers in the business. But that 24 hours is so hard for me to take off and not to touch it. As you know, we've had a conversation or 2 or 10 about, I'm sure. Yeah.
And
Yes.
what Trudy's referring to, guys, is the entrepreneurial time system is like, it's the best time system. If you're a person going through corporate and you've always been corporate, you'll have a tendency to want to shut it down, like or you'll lose control. And in this case, what happened with Trudy is that you can get into that, I'm leaving corporate, and the mentality in real estate is often, you got to work 24/7, 24/7, 24/7.
Yeah.
All the time. And it's almost like that's a really big turnoff for people getting into real estate. They're like, this sucks. Is like, I'm going to be working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And one of the things we brought to Trudy's attention really early in the game was the entrepreneurial time system, which makes you understand that, yes, we work 24-hour clocks as entrepreneurs, but freedom is important. And if you don't take a day off, 1 day a week, 24 hours away from your entire company, if you're not taking that time off, you're going to burn out, you're going to be exhausted, your production level is going to go down. More importantly, though, you're not resting enough to process how awesome you're doing. And when you don't process that, you can really, like, you're chasing all the time, and your brain is just like chase, 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 chase. And then you get exhausted, you get sick, you don't want to work as much, and then you fall out of love with the business, and then that can really U-turn you into making a decision. Am I doing the right thing or not? So Trudy's really been great at, you know, forcing her to say, look, go enjoy 1 day off a week and play and have fun. And as her business grows, if you leverage enough people, it becomes easier and easier for you to take that 1 day off a week, right?
Yeah, definitely. I've seen a difference since we've added those couple other positions, especially like even like social media and marketing and stuff like that. That wasn't my area of expertise.
Exactly.
So, you know, finding somebody who was creative and could do that, you know, just even on a little bit of time has definitely made a difference on that piece as well. So
huge.
yeah.
So like, how do you feel about, like, the biggest concern with people bringing a buyer agent on board is they feel really nervous that, do I have enough business to give that person? It is like really scary for people. So when you were going through that, was that ever a concern for you? And how do you get through something like that? What's your advice to agents out there about that concern?
I get it as a concern because I thought the same thing at first, but then because of the lead gen that allowed me, like having the full-time admin, the lead gen that was there, and I had a lot of leads that weren't being kind of followed up on. And then with the listings coming up, I felt like there was opportunities there, even though we were in, you know, a pandemic and we weren't doing open houses, which I used to absolutely love. Then it was just, so I did panic, but then it was just kind of like going, okay, know what? There is this whole option here, and it's not like I'm in this myself. Like, you know, there are other places to get leads, and marketing and promoting other properties also, you know, helps. And there's great ways to do that. So in the end, the buyer agent that I do have part-time, she's picked it up and run with it. And she's actually brought things to the table that I didn't see. So even their network And we've been able to expand into their network as well. So it actually works really nicely. And it does. It just works so nicely.
It does work
When
nicely.
it works, it's just so good.
When it works, it's awesome. So let's talk about it not working. Have you had to fire anybody?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so
by mutual agreement.
By mutual agreement.
By mutual agreement.
All right. So let's kind of talk about that. Like, I mean, you had to fire somebody for, the first time, when you own your company, the first time you have to let somebody go, it's hard. So how did you know it was the right time to let somebody go?
I like giving people a lot of chances, and the people around me were saying, okay, I'm noticing this. And this person came in with a lot of enthusiasm and said, I want to do this, and I want to be a rock star. I want to do this. And I was like, wonderful, because I'm drowning. I've got too many buyers on the go. I need some help. So if we're willing to work together, this is fantastic. But I think it was not recognizing on my part that this person had come out of a very different experience, and what they thought the business was wasn't. They didn't realize it was as hard work as it is, and that it's not just a feeding off the adults table kind of thing. Like you're not getting your dinner for free. There is work involved. So it was recognizing that, and then having to tell somebody that, you know what, I don't think this is working. What you feel that you need from me, I can't give you. And it was not working.
Nope. But when it was done and it was mutually agreed upon, I mean, how long did it take you? Like the process of letting that person go took how long?
It actually took one conversation, but it probably took about 2.5 weeks. So she was with me for about 6 weeks total. I think part of the mistake that I made was we had an opportunity to do a deal right off the top with a brand new agent. And so this person got the idea that as soon as you walk in the door, there's a deal to be had.
Yeah.
And they didn't see the work prior to that, and they didn't see the work on the other end. So it was
what I'm guessing from this as well is you learned as a CEO too, is that maybe the expectations need, for your next hire, you did that. You gave the expectations right out front instead. And we're like, okay, I learned from it. It is what it is. And now you have better fits in those roles, right?
Yeah. So, and it was the ability of somebody, the people that were around me at the time kind of said, okay, this seems to be missing, or, this person's taking a day off and you haven't had a day off in 2 weeks. So how does that work if you're the boss? So,
crazy,
and so it was more work on my plate. And as soon as I saw that it was actually more work on my plate, and then when I got Sandy in and she was picking up those buyer leads and stuff like that, it was night and day, and she's doing it part-time. So it was just, I was like, here it is. And she's like, great, got it. I'm on my way. And I'm like, you have any questions, you email me, text me, ask me away. And she does. So
that is awesome. So
the confidence is, it's a very different feel when the right person is in the right role.
It so is. And your growth in the past year and a half, like, it's crazy. Who's your next hire?
My next hire is going to be a full-time buyer agent.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yes.
So
hopefully that will happen between now and the end of 2021. So we'd like to start 2022 off with a nice, robust team.
It really will. So do you, as the CEO now and the Rainmaker, do you touch buyers, like, or when you bring this person full-time on board, are you going to give them up entirely, or are you going to still work with them? What's your thoughts on
that? That's a hard one, because I have a little bit of a control issue. So not that, I think there will be some buyers that I will still have a touch with. What I would like, what I think would be important is that if it is a buyer, that I do meet them or have some type of contact with them, because it is a full team, so that if something happens to that buyer agent, or they're not able to follow through, or, they get sick, then at least we as a team kind of know, who they are and what their needs are. And if it's a a buy and a sell, then it's working with them on both ends. So it's, yeah, I still do touch buyers, especially with my listings. If they are buyers on the other end, I will be that person. But if it's anybody new coming in right now, I'm transferring them as much as I can to the part-time buyer agent. But I'd like to have somebody full-time because I'd like to give over more.
Exactly. And the other thing you have
Yeah.
to remember, everybody who's listening to this, is that there's no perfect formula. It's
Nope.
different for every team. Like, you got to kind of appreciate that. Just because one team runs it one way, another team runs it a different way, it doesn't matter. It's how Trudy decides she wants to learn, grow her business, and keep it moving forward, and where she's going to go. But she's got in her head, she knows, I want a full-time buyer rep. That's the next key hire. She doesn't have 16 different directions. She's very clear. Next hire, full-time buyer rep. I'm going to get a little bit more freedom back, build the business to the next level. So before we wrap it up, 2022, you know you're going to be hitting over 400K. Where does that take you in 2022? What's the big hairy ass goal for 2022?
The big hairy ass goal would be to do stage 1 on the cottage. So our big kind of overarching goal is to make our cottage property a full 4-season kind of cottage property. So
nice.
It is currently a shack in the woods with a great beach. So
yes.
But that will be the big kind of personal goal for me. And then to take the team to be, to have the 5 of us and really just be able to move to that next level so that we can bring on additional people as we need them.
I love it. And what's the GCI target?
550 is what I'm kind of going for right now.
I love it. So 650 it is. I love it.
Of course, right? Because I've got that number thing. Yes, you always got to add a 1 plus a 0.
You always got to add 100 more.
Little,
We're like,
multiply it by 6 and divide by 4. Yeah.
Why not? I mean, if you're gonna go 3-4 times big in 1 year, let's keep the trend going. There is no limits, right?
Yes.
What's your biggest final question for you here, Trudy? What is your biggest lesson that COVID has taught you as a person who built a team and a business during such a crazy time and so new in your career? What's the biggest lesson that COVID has taught you?
Persistence, actually. Just head down and you put the systems in place and you work it and you surround yourself with good people and listen to your coach.
This is true. Or at least
it is true.
At the time, listen to your coach.
Yeah, well, and I mean, at the start of COVID, so I started with you just before kind of COVID all broke loose, and I was just kind of, getting it together, and then COVID hit, and even that part-time, like day and a half admin was gone, and I was by myself, and nobody had any idea what this world was doing, and in that, just to say, many conversations you and I had was just keep it going, stay persistent. And in the end, you'll get where you're going. If you've got really clear goals and you put the steps in place, you'll get there.
You are one of the hardest workers I have ever coached. I mean that sincerely. I am very, I bring people on board to these, and we started this series because I have so many remarkable clients and I want to share knowledge because they're in similar situations. Other agents are in similar situations. I have to say, you work so hard. You are so impressive. And you are just honestly where you're going to go and already have gone is so trailblazing. It's unbelievable. So I hope that everybody who watches this the biggest takeaway is that if you have a vision, you believe in yourself, if you're persistent enough and you're going to get the roadblocks, you're going to move through them. But you are not sitting here depleted in the hardest year and a half, in my opinion, of real estate. You are able to 3 to 4 times increase your revenue in your business and build a business and go from a realtor to a CEO, which is remarkable. So on behalf of all of us, you blow me away. Yeah, you blow me away.
But it's with good people. Like it's finding the right people to surround yourself with, and the more positive and energy, it makes all the difference in the world. If you have people that are draining your energy, your mindset goes with it.
It really does. And you know what? If you can do this during this time period, I can't
I'm looking forward to us being on the other side.
Oh my gosh. Like, I can't even imagine what that's going to look like. It's going to be awesome. So thank you so much, Trudy. I absolutely love you. If somebody has a referral for Ottawa, where do they find you?
They find me at Trudy Van Dyke at royallepage.ca or 613-761-3398. Instagram,
Love it.
Facebook, Van Dyke Home Team.
You cannot go wrong. I mean, this girl knows her stuff. All right. And she's got a whole team that can service you now. So, which is amazing.
Yes.
All right. Girl, thank you so much for doing this. We love you. And we will be sending you a copy of this. All right, girl?
Thank you.
All right. Bye, babe. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.